instructs us to be holy as he is holy. Not the form of godliness, but be holy.
In us at night. He who led the children of Israel out of Egypt. It was God that led them. Amen? What is Egypt? Egypt means bondage. It's slavery, captivity. It means sin. Our old mindset. You know the old mindset. I'm going to do it like this because this is the way that they told me how I should do it. And it always worked for so-and-so, so I'm going to put that quarter in there and pull it and see if I can get something out. And we bring that old mindset to God, and we act like God is some sort of sugar daddy, that if I do enough, then he'll give me what I need. Amen. If I cook for him, he'll do what I want him to do. Amen. If I do this, he'll buy me that dress that I've seen at the J.C. Penney's. Amen. But God is not a slot machine. God is not a sugar daddy. We can't go to God with some quarters and put it in and pull the lever and think that he's going to do what we want him to do. We must be led by the Spirit of the living God. All right. We got some old proclivities that we'll try to go back to. You know why? Because the path of least resistance is the path that most of us will take. If it was easy for me to go out there and sell a nickel bag and get $15, I'm going to go and do that instead of finding me some place of employment where I can fill me out a W-2. Amen. Somebody shout somebody.
Everybody join and sing.
Amen. And we know people like this. The easy way out is always the way that they will take. We'll go back to our own proclivities, the way that we used to do things, our old way of thinking. Do you guys remember Staples, the commercial? It was a few years ago that it came out. And the people would be running around looking for something. Oh, I've got to get this booklet together. What am I going to do? And I need to go. I've got to get some pens for this conference. And I've got to do all of these things. What am I going to do? And they acted like they were, amen, going to lose their mind because they didn't know what to do. And the Staples commercial came out. And they said, you know what? Just press the easy button, baby. Because if you press the easy button, then all of a sudden things will pop out at you. The book that you needed to be put together, it'll already be together when you come back to the store. Pay your money. Amen. And so we've got to understand that even when we are human beings, and we look for the easiest way to do it. Amen. Listen, you remember when we had those moments that you had to push? Amen. And I ain't talking about the ones with the motor. I'm talking about the ones that you had to push with strength. Amen. It had a round wheel, and you kept pushing that thing, and you had to come back and push. And by the time you got finished, you done burned up 12,000 calories. Amen. And so somebody said, "Man, this is too hard. We need to find an easier way to do this." And they put a motor in it. Amen. And then we got way past that. Somebody said, "You know what? I don't even want to walk behind this thing no more." And they put a wheel, they put 4 wheels on it, and put a steering wheel on that thing. And so now all you got to do is put some gas in it, jump on it, and you can ride that thing. And you ever see them down the street with a big hat on around, amen, with a t-shirt on, with a coat, and they even got a little thing where you can put your drink. Amen. Yeah. We look for the easier way to do things. That's human nature because God has given us favor. He has given us knowledge and wisdom. And so we're going to do things. We're going to try to make it easier for us to do. Amen. We try to make childbirth easier. They give us some drugs and it'll help us to ease some of it. It just takes the edge off. Okay. All right. Amen. We want to do things and try to see if it'll come up a little bit easier for us. But I come to let you know today, try to. All right. Easy is not always best.
Amen.
And my husband said something last week. I don't normally take a subtext, and you know I don't either. And I said, Lord, I got to put it on here. He done set a precedent. Amen. Easy is not always best, but God will always see you. All right.
All right.
It was back in the Old Testament in Genesis, the 16th chapter, that Sarai gave Hagar to Abram. Hagar was Sarah's maid. She was her slave woman. Amen. And Sarai said, let me give her to Abram, because God said we were going to have a child and we were going to be the mother and father of many nations. And it wasn't happening. You see, they started getting older in age. Amen. When the old spice wasn't doing it no more for Sarah. And Abraham had to try to keep himself up, but it just wasn't working. They must have tried and said, well, I don't know, maybe the Lord wants to do it a different way. Old mindset. Old way of thinking. Well, you know, the tradition goes like this. If you can't make a seed, then what you do is you give your maid to your husband, and that child that's born becomes your child. Amen. And so in her way of thinking, well, maybe this is how God is going to bless us. And we've got to come out of that thing where we want to go back to the old way. We want to go back to the old tradition.